Our hope hangs upon you, my friend.
Hello Crusaders, welcome back. Dash here with an unexpected episode of Diablo Immortal. And I say unexpected because I didn't expect to get into the alpha, and also episode because it's up to you if you want to see more of this content. Before we get started, I think a little housekeeping is in order, and apologies, I will have a link in the description so you can jump forward to the lore play video. The first thing is people have been saying they wanted to see me cover Diablo Immortal so they can enjoy the story without having to play it. And I get it. Some people are very much against the game, and I understand it. I'm not a mobile gamer by nature myself. However, I am very interested to find out what happened to the Worldstone shards due to Bale's corruption in Diablo 2 and the events generally between Diablo 2 and 3. So it piqued my interest and I thought I'll at least have a look. Second thing on the list is this is alpha, and I mean alpha. The gameplay isn't terribly broken or anything, but there is a lot of conversations that drop out, so I'm going to have to roll up my sleeves and do a little bit of voiceover for some of the characters, and I apologize if I don't quite do them justice. That being said, the Crusader is back. The Crusader's goal isn't to remove the taint of Mephisto from the Zakarum we saw in Diablo 2, but to purge Sanctuary of all evil through discipline, honor, and unswerving vigilance. Thus, as long as Hell's influence lingers in the mortal realm, the Crusaders will not rest until their task is done. And so we've been personally called upon to investigate some strange happenings in the fishing village of Wortham, located just west of New Tristram in the land of Kandaras.
This is it. The dock for Wortham. God, that whole village has gone to hell. You sure I can't take you someplace else?
No. The light of Zakarum has come to deliver the faithful. The path to town is up ahead, then?
Aye. Follow the road and be on your guard. Unfortunate things happen to travelers in that forest.
We'll heed your advice, then. Go with Akarat, friend.
As we step onto the foggy dock, startled, a murder of crows take flight, revealing a puddle of gore on the ground. To our left, a poor villager screams, his body torn asunder, and we see the culprit, a shambling undead. After contending with the foe, it burst like a balloon full of blood. We look around to the disheveled fisherman's hut and hope it wasn't one of their kin. A stone's throw up the path, we face
The undead. What fate has befallen Wortham?
another infested villager. We dutifully put down the re-risen. And yet, a few yards to the east, we find another trio of infested villagers and call upon our holy flail to stop short their feast on their infected peers.
More lives consumed by darkness.
It's then we see the source of their unrest and bark.
Get away from those villagers!
More villagers are risen by a damned cultist in their red hoods, no doubt a part of the Coven and sworn enemies of the Zakarum. Just north, we see a trio of cultists too busy with their incantations to notice our presence. Although we garnered the element of surprise, their gamble of re-raising the dead had paid off, as we're swarmed by a gaggle of infested villagers. We exclaim,
Let light be restored.
Taking a closer look at the symbols that the cultists covet, we don't understand but can tell that this is some form of blood magic. Dark tidings indeed. It's then we sense an even more malevolent force just north, a lone female mage who taunts.
An outsider, drawn where they do not belong. Yet you are too late. Wortham is damned.
From a vile blood puddle, she summons the putrid desecrator, a mound of flesh with a fanged mouth in its belly adorned by horns. We use our agility and skills to sidestep its attacks, yet it spits out acid slime to try and stop us in our path. It paws at us ingraciously, teeth gnashing in its vile belly, spewing acidic blood in a pile where we stand, forcing us to dash gingerly to the side lest we become a part of the blood puddle itself. Our flail smashes at its torso, and we drive our sword through its disgusting guts until it lets out a groan and is no more.
The faithful are rewarded.
On its body, we find and equip some pauldrons, and have been blessed by Akarat with the new skill, Shield Glare, in which light erupts from our shield, dealing 53 damage and blinding all enemies in front of us for 3 seconds. However, they have to be facing us for this to take effect. A few steps north, we see the symbol in which the Desecrator was born, an eye, admittedly, we haven't seen before. It's then we see at the gates of Wortham some guards contending with cultists themselves. After them! Quickly! Secure the gate!
Bring the offering. The gift of blood shall open our Lord's path.
We rush to help the guards, but they question. You there! What's your purpose, stranger? I'd received word that Wortham had been attacked. The mayor requisitioned aid. What can I do to help? The mayor? Akarat, bless this man's soul. Those cultists you just carved through attacked the town and dragged our people toward the caves in the west. You're here to aid us? Then help my men kill those bastards and bring back anyone who lives. Go. Please, hurry. Heading west, we're immediately set upon by a pack of direwolves and spiders. Seeing a wounded guardsman, we say, get to safety. I'll find the villagers. And as we fight through the packs, we find another downed guardsman and tell him the others are guarding the gates. Get to them, quickly! Before we're confronted by another swarm of spiders, almost as if they're guarding this place.
The crusade marches on.
And we realize this must be the cavern the guards spoke of. Taking a moment, somewhere in the carnage dropped a spiked flail and more formidable chainmail. Equipping both, we head into the cavern, confronted by toxic lurkers and their carrier nests, which spawn these winged fiends over and over until they explode like a putrid pus-filled pimple. It's northeast, we come across the cultists and their lair, our holy retribution barely contained as we scream,
Burn in the righteous flame!
The ground itself shakes as cultists and hellions are sprayed to and fro. Akarat's light engorges our weapon and shield, and we become almost a maelstrom of holy light and retribution barely contained in a human form, after which we regain our composure and look around the lair. It seems they stock treasure and trinkets, but their true prize is much worse. We then see littered about helpless men bound to crosses, crucified. We follow the gore and find a trio of poor souls. The one in the middle, however, is conscious and pleads before being interrupted.
You, friend, get us out of here, please.
Another sacrifice arrives. Through your flesh, the Lord of Damnation shall have his prize!
We don't know who this Lord of Damnation is or his acolytes. All we know is that it holds a similar staff with a shard in it, just as the previous cultist did. This priest seems to be more slippery as he summons hellions to his aid and disappears to and fro, making it hard to track him down. We use our shield to breach the gap, and yet he still taunts us.
Behold the gift of Hell's new master!
It's then he drains his victims of all their blood and life essence and doubles in size and, it seems, power. If the Hellions weren't bad enough to deal with, the priest then spawns his own acolyte Shadows, also cursed with dark magicka. We don't know who to contend with first, but guess less magic is always best. Destroying his false minions, we then focus down the unholy priest once more. But he and his minions are far from calling it a day. Each flinging blood orbs in threes in our direction, we back up and pull a potion from our pouch, greedily downing it. Again, sending his shades back to the void they were spawned from, and focus on the acolyte once more. Unfortunately, his disappearing trick starts to become predictable. As he spawns more shades, we back up, giving him a false sense of security as we throw our holy shield through his shade's corpse, causing him to explode in a blood-red mass of magic.
Stronger and stronger in the light.
The mage lies dead in a pool of its own crimson ichor. We check his den to the north for any survivors and find one shackled on the ground. Freeing them, they say.
Gods. He killed them. He killed them all.
You're all right, friend. Tell me, do you have the strength to make it out of here?
Yes, I think so. Wait. One of the others had a portal scroll, but we couldn't reach it. There it is. Come. Let's leave this miserable place forever.
The blacksmith then casts his town portal, gifted to him by his dying friend. Wanting to spend no more time in this unholy den, we follow close behind. We find ourselves in the market section of Wortham. The villagers themselves seem to be shaken by the crimson sky and the omen it imparts. We then see Corin the blacksmith by his forge, and he properly introduces himself, saying,
You know, I didn't thank you properly, friend. I'm Corin, the village's blacksmith. If you need to improve your armor or weapons, please see me.
A moment later, a villager covered in strange symbols and the red magic we've been encountering stumbles forward, ritual complete, a sacrifice to relay a demonic message.
My eye is upon you. Weep and despair, for the sins of your existence will be bled away.
We look down at the poor soul, now just a husk, and say, there's nothing but char left. Heading north, we then enter Wortham's cathedral, where we were told we would meet a liaison that would aid us. In front of the pews, we see some scared villagers, and the Herodric scholar, Deckard Cain. He says, Remain calm, everyone. We're not bereft of hope yet. Hello, friend. You've arrived at quite a difficult time. As you can plainly see, the townsfolk are ill at ease. But we should be safe enough here for the moment. My name is Deckard Cain. I'm a bit of a traveling scholar, one might say. Lyra here mentioned you saved Corin from the cultists before that sudden commotion in the square. Please, tell me everything. It seems dark forces have set their eyes upon Wortham. The cultists' leaders mentioned a Lord of Damnation, said he was seeking some prize. That face wreathed in flame could have only been his. Lord of Damnation. Things are far worse than I had imagined. The forces of hell are seeking a shard of the World Stone, an artifact with the power to create entire realities. 5 years ago, the demon lord Baal nearly brought all of humanity under his thrall using the stone. If the demons were to obtain even a shard of it, the results would be catastrophic. We cannot allow that to happen. Please, help us. No one else can. Before hunting down the shard, we turn to Deckard Cain once more, and he says, I know not the trials you face, but I believe you have the strength to conquer them nonetheless. Somewhat comforted by the elderly sage's words, we head southeast, following the path out of the village. It's there we see some guards with torches, trying to hold back a bad batch of cultists and villagers alike. More victims of this Lord of Damnation's ever-growing army of the undead.
Let light be restored.
Felling them, the guardsmen then inform us the attack came from the west. There must be another stronghold there. Don't worry about the town. Go! Show those cultists no mercy. Just west of the gate, we find a handy conduit shrine which no doubt will shock the enemies to come. Heading over a dilapidated bridge, we're then assaulted by some more dire wolves, quill rats, toxic lurkers, and it feels like even nature has turned against us. Under lamplight, spiderlings crawl out, unique arachnids,
A foul creature.
venomous and fierce, that explode upon contact. It's only after felling the foul foes are we granted some form of respite and find that we have new gear. Neck protection from our chainmail, shield and upgraded flail and belt. Akarat giveth to the faithful. Just west, we see more of the blood symbols etched into the ground with dark rocks that jut out like uneven teeth protruding from the ground. So then we see that the cave itself bears the marking of the damned.
Stronger and stronger in the light.
Cultists rise up to stop us, but too strong we prove in the light. Our path now unmarred, we learn the holy ability Falling Sword, which will impale our holy sword at a location where it deals 162 damage over 5 seconds to all nearby enemies. And we can activate it again to launch ourselves into the heavens and come crashing down at the sword's location, dealing 172 damage to all nearby enemies as we retrieve our sword. Inside the cave, we're met again by Hellions and a mob of cultists who get to feel our new ability Falling Sword land on them with the might of the heavens itself.
Still recharging.
Once the area is cleared, we head over to another shrine. The similar symbols of blood etched into the rocks and the all-seeing eye, girt by candles, staring at us lifeless, yet ever watchful. So then we cautiously head northwest, step into a web-covered cave where clearly a ritual is underway.
Lord Skarn, the shard is ours, and the rite is nearly finished. The way will open.
You are not alone, supplicant. Slay the intruder in my name.
As the cultists move to surround us, we hit them with a falling sword and they splay in every direction. The Skarn, now the size of the Lord of Damnation, bears down on us. Our righteous fury overwhelms us once more as we scream.
The light burns within me!
We then begin our assault on Skarn directly, bashing her down with holy shield and mace alike, until she starts to flail at the sight of our flail, and we're sure that we have her on the retreat. Skarn instead bows down on one of the summoning eyes and yells,
Hell comes for you!
The crimson shard in her staff begins to glow, and we realize the fight has just begun. She summons a demonic pet named Ifris the Destroyer, a horned dragon-like creature, spawned from blood magic and hellish nightmare. We smash its maw with our flail, darting to and fro, throwing our shield at it as it breathes fire with rage and contempt. Thinking we're out of harm's way, it rains down meteor upon us as we narrowly dodge the brunt of its attacks. Not content with just raining down an inferno upon us, it also spawns flame-based minions to attack us. Between its assault of breathing fire and raining it down from the heavens above, we then realize that These fire demons are actually tortured embers and probably victims of the cultists. Unable to stand any more of this unholy display, we call forth the falling sword and throw it above the neck of the demon as we land on top of it, and it spears through its demonic maw as it lets out a final, anguished cry of defeat.
Recharging. Stronger and stronger in the light.
Anguished cry of defeat. We then head back to the summoning site where Skarn was, and the jewel from her staff appears floating above us. A world stone shard. We're hesitant to touch it. Known for its immeasurable power, we gasp.
So this stone is the power for which angels and demons wage eternal war.
Cain will know what to do with it. With shard in hand, we portal back to Wortham Chapel once more. There the elderly scholar awaits us by the pulpit and says,
"What you've accomplished is miraculous, my friend. To face such foes and live to tell the tale. Simply astounding."
We were lucky I arrived in time. The cultists were summoning demons. Their leader called out to the Lord of Damnation, a demon named Skarn.
Skarn. I have never heard of this name before. And as far as I know, there is no demon lord of damnation. Most troubling.
Indeed. And there's the matter of what we do with the shard. This sort of power does not belong in mortal hands.
On that, we agree. You see, I did not come to Wortham by chance, my friend. A Heraldric ritual allowed me to divine the location of several world stone shards.
one was here in Wortham, the other lies somewhere in the nearby cemetery of Ashwold. Before we can leave, Cain then says, "Darkness is spreading once again, and it seems I must ask the impossible of you. Will you help me collect these corrupted shards and save our world from oblivion?" The Lords of Hell tried to corrupt the Zakarum priesthood. They destroyed our leadership, but could not destroy our faith. I will not stand by and let the burning hells take any more from us. From the depths of my heart, thank you, friend. Before you leave, I have a few gifts for you, the first of which lies on the altar. While it may be simple, a good map is of vital importance. It will surely aid you upon your travels. Then we turn and take the world map as Cain instructs, and the episode comes to an end.
This is Sanctuary. To protect it, you must cross many lands where forgotten evils linger. Yet you must go without fear into the heart of the unknown. This burden falls to us, a chance to fight the darkness, to ensure our home's survival. For a new evil covets the world stone's power. If a shard falls into hell's clutches, our world will burn.